ओम गणानां त्वा गणपतिं हवामहे कविं कवीनामुपमश्रवस्तमं ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणां ब्रह्मणस्पतान् शृण्वन्नोतिभिः सीदसादनं श्रीमहागणाधिपतये नमः। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुस्साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। Om. Dear friends, we have just completed this 18th shloka. That is Naivatasya Krutenartho, Evam Pravartitam Chakram. Evam Pravartitam Chakram na Anuvartayati Hayah. That is 16th shloka. So this is told in the context of Karma Yoga we have seen. So Krishna in this chapter, he started Karma Yoga. He gave some picture of Karma Yoga. Then he switched over to another subject called Yajna, that is a contributory action. So the principle of contributory action, how that again is Nishkama Karma, how that again is going to release you from this bondage of karma. He said he has equated that Yajna with Nishkama Karma, which again is going to lead you Karma Bandha, or from that Karma Bandha it is going to deliver you. So that is what he said. So having told that, he is making a very brief pause here. He is making a brief pause and he is switching over to the situation of a Jnani. Because Arjuna initially, Arjuna is a Kshatriya, he is there in the field of war. So while he wanted to be a sannyasi, he wanted to take up an ashrama which is not suited for him. His job is otherwise. So from that point of view, and not only that, sannyasa is, say a person is qualified for sannyasa only when he attains a particular level of maturity, a particular spiritual attainment, spiritual sadhana. All the shama, dhamma, all these things, that internal discipline has to be practiced. Arjuna is not a person who has undergone through all those sadhana, chatushtaya and whatnot. So he says, now here in these two shlokas, what Krishna is doing is, he is putting a brief stop to that, he is giving a brief pause to that Karma Yoga. He is briefly explaining, telling about the position of a Jnani. And then he is getting back to Karma Yoga. And then again he is getting back saying that, this is the status of a Jnani, you are not at that level. So you please, you perform Karma. So that is what is the scheme here. So this 16th shloka I have completed the Bhashyam. We have to see the Avatarika, that is the introduction for the 17th shloka. So this introduction, the question, he is posing a question, Shankaracharya is posing a question, because in the earlier shlokas, that wheel, that cosmic wheel of contributory action, it has been explained. So you have to, you are taking something from the Samashti, you have to give back something to the Samashti, and that is what is Yajna. And whoever does not follow that wheel, say he is an Aghayu, Indriya Ramaha, his life is wasteful, his life is futile. So all those harsh words were spoken about a person who puts a spoke in that wheel and who wants to amass wealth for himself. So that is what we have seen. So now there is an anticipated question. So is this wheel to be followed by everybody, that is including a Jnani? So this question, this Avatarika is going to pose that question. Is this wheel or is this cycle of action, this contributory action and this yajna, this performing duty with this spirit of say sacrifice. So all those things, is it to be performed by everybody or is it to be performed by only that person who is not capable of attaining that Jnana Nishta? That is the question here. So let us read this thing. Evam sthite किम एवं प्रवर्तितं चक्रम सर्वेण अनुवर्तनीयम आहोस्वित पूर्वोक्त कर्मयोगानुष्ठानोपाय प्राप्याम अनात्मविदा ज्ञानयोगेनैव निष्ठाम आत्मवद्भिः सांख्यैः अनुष्ठेयाम् अप्राप्तेनैव इत्येवम् अर्थम् अर्जुनस्य प्रश्नमाशंक्य स्वयमेव वा शास्त्रार्थस्य विवेक प्रतिपत्त्यर्थमेव. There is a long sentence which I will read later. So we'll stop here. So he is saying, what Shankaracharya is saying is, so Lord Krishna is anticipating a question from Arjuna like this. What is that question? Is this cycle to be performed? Is this action to be this yajna type of action to be performed by everybody? Or is it to be performed only by somebody who is not capable of attaining that Jnana-nishtha? So that is one possibility. The other possibility is, even without anticipating that question, Krishna himself, he wants to clarify further. So, Swayamevava, Prashnam Ashankya, Swayamevava, that means on his own, Krishna wants to clarify, because he wants to Shastrarthasya Viveka Pratipatyartham. So, he wants to make a clear distinction of the Shastrartha. What is Jnana-nishtha, what is Karma-nishtha, and who has to follow Jnana-nishtha, who is in which grade. So, Krishna is in the position of something like a teacher, the big boss, let us say. So he is like that, he is in the highest state of Jnana-nishtha. So he knows this entire ladder of Karma Yoga. This Karma Yoga and all this Anusthana, all these things, they are like Karma, Upasana, and then Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana, all these things are some various steps on this ladder which leads you to the Jnana-nishtha. So a person who is on the top, he knows as to where you are climbing. You want to climb, that itself is a ichcha, shubhecha. You are in the first step, the very desire that there is something called jnanam, and then I want to follow that path. So that itself is a jnana-nishtha. That itself is the first step. Then secondly, you will try to slowly understand what is karma yoga. Then you will slowly try to go beyond that, and then you want to do something more. You want to add some value addition by doing some upasana and things like that. And some more value addition by doing some Shravana, Manana, Nidhyasana and all that. These are all various steps before attaining that Jnana-nishtha. So, a person who is in that level, he knows where exactly the seeker is, the person is. Suppose, if a person who is in the first standard, he wants to say, no, I want to attain something which a PhD student is having. So, he cannot. So, he has to tell him, you are not at that level. You are maybe in the 5th class or 10th class, whatever it is, your grade is like this, you are in that particular step in the ladder, you please perform all these things and then come. So it is something like the 36th chamber of Shaolin. So like that you have to follow all these chambers, you have to conquer all these chambers and then go to the next chamber. So it is like that. So that of course it is a maybe an improper example I have given, but just to illustrate. So, evam sthite, while it is so, kim evam pravartitam chakram. This chakra, this wheel which has been set in motion, pravartitam is set in motion, evam pravartitam chakram, sarvena anuvartaniyam, is it to be followed by everybody? Ahosvit means or else, purvokta karma yoga anushthanopaya praptam. This, he is describing this Jnana-nishtha. He is giving some 2-3 adjectives for this Jnana-nishtha. He is explaining. Karma yoga anushthanopaya prapyam. That is this Jnana-nishtha which can be attained only by the process of Karma yoga. Karma yoga anusthana upaya. Karma yoga is an upaya. Upaya is, it is a strategy. Karma yoga is a strategy in order to attain Jnana yoga. So this from Purvokta means which has been said before, Karma Yoga Anushthanopaya Prapyam. That Jnana-nishtha which can be attained through the strategy of Karma Yoga, and then Jnana Yogena iva Nistham, that Nishtha which is there in Jnana Yoga, Atmavidbhihi Sankhyahi Anustheyam. Atmavidbhihi, that is the people who know the self, who have realized the self, and Sankhyas. Sankhya again is what? Sankhya is a Jnani only. Jnani only, Sankhya. He is only giving different words for the same thing. Atmavidbhihi Sankhyahi Anustheyam. So, Ityevam Arjunasya. In between there are 2 words called Anatmavida Apraptena. Anatmavida Apraptena. That is, this Apraptena and Anatmavida, 2 words are there in that thing. So, these 2 have to be linked. They are in 2 different places. But when a sentence construction goes on, a long sentence goes on like that in Sanskrit, sometimes the words are, that is the style. A master who writes in such a masterly style, he puts a word in some other place, which we have to identify, and then we have to connect it with the next word. That is anatmavida apraptena. That is one who has not attained jnananishta, by one who has not attained jnananishta. Anatmavida, that is by one who is an anatmavit. By one who is an anatmavit means one who does not know Atman. Then apraptena, jnananishta yogyam apraptena, that is one who has not attained that jnananishta. So this is a slightly complex sentence. Karma yoga anushthanopaya prapyam anatmavida. It is like that, the sentence. This anatmavida has to be connected with apraptena. So the overall meaning of sentence is only this much. Overall meaning is simple. That is, has it to be followed by everybody, or this only by say karmis? Should it be say followed or performed by these people also? So that is the question. Swayamevava, that is Lord on his own. Shastrarthasya viveka pratipatyartham. Shastrarthasya viveka pratipati. Viveka, you know, viveka is to make a distinction, discrimination, distinction and all that. Viveka pratipatti. Pratipatti is jnana. Viveka pratipatyartham means in order to impart this knowledge very, very clearly. Shastrartha he wants to convey in a very, very clear manner. So for that reason, so from here we have to read Etam vai tam atmanam viditva. Of course, this is a quotation from Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, but it is not exactly, the quotation exactly is not given. In between, Shankaracharya has also added his own words. It is called Arthato Anuvadam. Arthataha Anuvadam. So instead of giving that exact quotation, so he is giving say his own words in between, so that he conveys the meaning in a more clear way. So that is what is called Arthataha Anuvadam. Pure Anuvadam means just reproducing the text. Anuvada normally we mean translation. Anuvada, it not only means translation, Anuvada also means repetition or just quotation, quoting. Anuvada also means quoting. Instead of quoting, he is also adding his own comments in between. So it is called Arthato Anuvadam. So we will read this like any other sentence. Etam vai tam atma etam va etam atmanam viditva. Etam va etam atmanam, I have just broken. Etam va etam atmanam viditva. Nivrutta mithya jnanas santaha. Brahmanaha mithya jnanavadbhihi avasyam kartavyebhyah putraishanadibhyah vyarthaya atha bhikshacharyam sharira sthitimattra prayuktam charanti na tesham atmajnananistha vyatirekena anyat karyamasti ityevam shrutyartham iha gita shastre pratipadayishitam avishkurvan aha bhagavan. So okay, this is, so Lord Krishna on his own, while clarifying or in the process of clarifying, he is giving this, Shankaracharya is giving this quotation. Etam va etam atmanam viditva nivrutta mithya jnanas santaha brahmanaha. So the subject matter is that brahmanaha. Brahmana does not mean Brahmins. Brahmanaha means those who have attained the Brahmajnana, those who have attained that stage of say self-realization. That is what is called brahmanaha. So that is the subject. So what do they do? Etam atmanam viditva. This, having known, having realized this particular Atman, the context is that Atmaloka. He is talking about this stage of realization of the Atman. So having realized this soul, then what happens? Self rather, not soul. Then what happens? Nivrutta mithya jnanas santaha. All this mithya jnana is eradicated. Nivrutta, it has receded. Nivrutta is, it has gone away, it has gone back, it has receded. What has receded? Mithya jnana. What is this mithya jnana? Mithya jnana is all these false things which have been imposed on one's own identity, one's own self. All those things have been eradicated. Mithya jnana santaha brahmanaha. Then mithya jnanavadbhihi avasyam kartavyebhyah putraishanadibhyah vyuthaya. So what do? They again transcend from all these things called putraishana, vitteshana, not vitteshana, putraishana, lokeshana. say this with Vitteshana is there, Vittaishana. So these three desires, we have seen these desires earlier also. Desire for children, desire for money, desire for lokas. Eshanatrayam we have come across several times earlier. Putreshana, Vitteshana, Dareshana. So those things. From those things, they go beyond it. They transcend. Vyuthaya. Vyuthanam is rising above. Vyuthanam. Say just going above or rising above or transcending these three things. Then what are these things? Mithya jnana vardhihi avashyam kartavyebhyah. So, but these things have to be invariably performed by the people who are in Mithya Jnana. So, suppose you are in Mithya Jnana, so you are having some self-imposed ideas on yourself. You have got your own identity. So, while you are in that stage of Mithya Jnana, you can't say, okay, anyway I am having Mithya Jnana, I need not do anything. So, you can't escape like that. So, Mithya Jnana is at a transactional level. This Loka Vyavahara, what all we call Loka Vyavahara, this is the very society itself, the social contract, and then the social obligations, one's duty in a society, all these things are at a Vyavaharika level only. All this comes under Mithya Jnana with reference to this knowledge of that absolute Brahman. With reference to or in comparison with the knowledge of that absolute Brahman, all this thing, what all we do is Mithya Jnana. Our entire law is Mithya Jnana, our entire society is Mithya Jnana, our human bonds, etc. There is all Mithya Jnana. So that is the level. So when that is so these people who are, say, having an identity in this Mithya Jnana or Mithya Prapancha, so these people have to follow these things. Mithya Jnana vadbhihi avashyam kartavyebhyah. For they have to be invariably, say, implemented or followed, performed by these people of Mithya Jnana. So what is this? Eshana, Trayam, etc. So they have to do yajna, they have to do some good deeds, they have to follow the norms of the society. Only a jnani, he goes beyond the norms of the society. But ordinary man, he has to say be in those things. So of course, it does not mean that jnani, when I say that jnani goes beyond the norms, it does not mean that he gets an exemption from all these things. It only means that he has gone beyond a particular level where he does not do anything wrong, because he loves the entire humanity as his own self. He sees Brahman everywhere, he cannot harm anything. So that is what we also saw earlier. Abhayam sarvabhutebhyah, abhayam. So there is sarvabhutebhyah abhayam. There is absolutely nothing for anybody to fear from him. So that is that abhayam. That is the level which he has reached. So, but then while you are in this Mithya Jnana, you have to do all these things. You have to follow all these social norms. Putraishanadhibhyah vyuthaya atha bhikshacharyam sharira sthiti matra prayuktam. So, have we read this thing? No. Putraishanadhibhyah vyuthaya atha bhikshacharyam. We have read it. Atha bhikshacharyam. What is this bhikshacharyam? Bhikshacharyam is begging, living as a mendicant. So bhikshacharyam again what? He should not be very greedy even in that. Sharira sthiti matra prayuktam. For the maintenance of his body. This bhikshacharyam has been prescribed for a sannyasi with a particular purpose. So a sannyasi goes for a bhiksha. Okay, the grihastha invites him, and then he invites him, and then he gives a bhiksha to that man. Incidentally, there are a couple of other people also. Then this grihastha asks him, Swamiji, tell me something about Gita. Swamiji, tell me something about what is karma. Swamiji, tell me something about the nature of God. Whatever it is. So it is the duty of this chap, it is the duty of this sannyasi to tell him the course of action. It is the duty of the sannyasi to see what is his stage and what is the level, and then according to this level, according to his level, he will prescribe a medicine. If he is at a very, very totally money-making level, okay, he will also say, okay, it is good that you are doing something, but while you are making some money, you also do some dharmam. So something like that. Seeing his state, he will prescribe the medicine. If he is a slightly more evolved person, he will prescribe a more tougher thing. So depending on the level of the recipient, so this sannyasi will be teaching him. So Bhiksha Sannyasa is an institution which we find in our own. It is a unique system rather. In our own Vedic tradition, we find this unique tradition. I don't know whether it is there in other traditions. But this is a very, very unique tradition where the sannyasi does not mean this fellow is a sort of selfish fellow who has withdrawn from society and all that. He is there in society. He is there living among people, otherwise he can't survive in a jungle. He is there, but then he is there doing some bhikshacharyam. It only means that a person who is selflessly dedicated for the welfare of the society. It is not a selfish withdrawal, it is a selfless withdrawal. It is a selfless withdrawal. He moves around, and we know the story of say people like Shuka Maharshi. Shuka Maharshi and all other people, what do they do? So Shuka Maharshi was again a similar sannyasi. So just he was such a totally a person, such a dispassionate person that sa godohana velayam. So only he was staying in a place only for the duration that is the time taken for milking a cow, godohanam, that is milking a cow. It may take about 15-20 minutes. So he stays in a place for about 15-20 minutes and moves away. So he is such a dispassionate, such a disconnected person who is so disconnected from the world. So it is like that. So what did Shuka and all these people do? Shuka, wherever he went, all these stories, Mahabharata stories, all these things, they were all told by Shuka to some other persons, Shuka to Vaishampayana, Shuka to Suta Pauranika, and Suta Pauranika is one man who tells all this to Shauraka and other munis. Suta Pauranika, you must have seen, Shuka tells Suta, Suta tells various, who is this Suta again? Suta again, it refers to a particular caste. Suta, he is a person who is born to a Kshatriya person, to a Vaishya woman. Kshatriya person and a Vaishya woman. Their child is called a Suta, a particular caste, because these four varnas have been recognized in this system. So in between, if there is an intermarriage, so there are some children. So there you have to give some caste name to that. Some name, so he is called Suta. So Suta Pauranikud, in fact we have to realize that all our books, Suta, all these Puranas, they have been told by a non-Brahmin only. Suta is not a Brahmin, he is not even a Kshatriya, he is somebody who is born to a Kshatriya from a Vaishya woman. So and their job is to make chariots. Suta, their job is to make a chariot, Ratham in olden days, that was required for war. That was one of the essential components in a war. Like you have got army tankers now. The Ratham was an invariable component, an important component in that war. So the Suta is a fellow whose duty was to prepare those chariots. So, but then this Suta Pauranika, he was a Pauranika. He was a sort of balladeer. He was a person going around and teaching Puranas, teaching all these tales about these gods and all these things. So Shuka teaches Suta again teaches to all these rishis and munis, Shaunakadi, Maharshulanjuchi, Itlani. We read in every story, we read like that. So this is the system. So sannyasi is a person who is supposed to do this bhikshacharya again for spreading knowledge of this Vedic dharma to people. It is not as though he is simply a sort of parasite surviving on society. Of course, that is a criticism of our communist brethren who never read our books, who have no understanding of our books, but unfortunately who condemn in such a crude and say maybe barbaric manner, very uncivilized manner, without knowing what exactly was happening. Because we see of so many people, so many stories we read in our own books and our own Puranas, where these sannyasis, they were totally dedicated for the welfare of mankind. So sannyasi is a fellow who does a selfless withdrawal. So that is we have to see. Bhikshacharyam sharira sthiti matra prayuktam. They are not supposed to hold. Suppose somebody says, okay, Swamiji, I will give you some ashram. You have this nice ashram. He should not develop love with that ashram. And then somebody comes and gives some golden, throne. So he should not develop love for that gold throne. So all these things, they are happening. Sometimes they happen when we see also. Somebody gives a gold throne, somebody gives some other silver throne. So all these things. Sharira sthiti matra prayuktam charanti na tesham atmajnana nishtha vyatirekena anyat karyam asti. So there is no other work for them except this atmajnana nishtha. Anyat karyamasti means there is no other work, there is no other thing to be done for them except this Atma Jnana Nishtha. And just in the process of that Bhikshacharyam, they are there basically to spread this Vedic Dharma. So that is the idea here. Ityevam Shrutyartham iha Gita Shastre Pratipadaishitam. Pratipadaishitam means that which is proposed to be advanced. Pratipadanam is advancing an argument, advancing or presenting some say idea. Pratipadaishitam, that is that which is desired to be presented, that which is proposed to be presented. So that idea, this is the Gita, that is the meaning of Gita Shastra, and that is the meaning of Shruti also. Shrutyartham iha Gita Shastre Pratipadaisham. Originally it is the meaning of Shruti only, it is the essence of Veda, and that essence of Veda is the subject matter of Gita Shastra, and that is what is going to be presented here. So, Avishkurvan aha Bhagavan. So, Bhagavan, Lord Krishna, is saying like this. So, this is the meaning here. So, the sannyasi, sannyasi is something like a sort of conscience keeper of the society. We also use the word conscience keeper. So, sannyasi is like that, and we should not think that they are parasites, like our communist brothers think. So, anyway, this is okay. Anandagiri has not given anything more. Okay, let us read this shloka. Yas tvatmaratireva syat atmatruptascha manavah atmanyeva cha santuštah tasya karyam na vidyate. Yes, this shloka and the next shloka, they talk about Naivatasya Krutenartho Nakruteneha Kashana. These two things, they talk about the position of a Jnani. This just Arjuna, Krishna, as I said, he is briefly pausing in this Karma Yoga chapter and then telling what is Jnananishta, and then again coming back to Arjuna to say that this is something which is difficult for you, this is something which is not meant for you, your duty is elsewhere. So he is now talking about a Jnani. Yes tu, yaha tu means on the other hand. So tu, whenever this tu is there, on the other hand, he is talking about a Jnani. Yaha tu atmaratireva syat. He is using three words here. One who is an atmarati. I will explain these words. Yes tu atmaratireva syat. One who is an atmarati. Atma truptascha manavaha. A person who is Manavaha means any person. Manava not only means a Brahmin or anybody. Manava, anybody, any human being. Any human being, all human beings are entitled for Jnana. That is one thing which Vedanta is very, very clear about. Not only, irrespective of any Varna, all human beings are entitled for Jnana. So, Atma Truptascha Manavaha, one who is an Atma Trupta. Then, Atmani eva cha santushtaha. Atmani plus eva. Atmanyeva cha santushtaha. Cha, and also Atmanyeva santushtaha. So one is Atma Trupta, Atma Rati, one is Atma Trupta, Atmanyeva cha santushtaha. Tasya karyam na vidyate. For him there is no action. For him there is no tasya, for him karyam, any action, na vidyate, it is not seen. So it means two things. Tasya karyam na vidyate can mean two ways. That means he has no he need not do any work. That is one thing. There is no obligation on him to do any work. That is one thing. The other thing also, even if he does some karma, it does not come under the category of karma. There is no particular obligation for him. There is no particular duty for him that he has to do this, like this Grahastha and all these people. He has to do a yajna, that contributory action he has to do. Then again he has to perform various other nitya karmas and whatnot. So all these duties, such duties are not there. Tasya karyam na vidyate, because moksha is something which is not a karya. Moksha is something, it is a question of realization, it is a question of understanding, it is a question of contemplation, and not a question of attaining something by a ritual. Moksha is not a ritual. When you are doing yajna is a ritual. Whereas moksha is not attained through a ritual. Moksha is attained through a hard process of yajna is an easy process rather. You may have to only spend money. If you have some check writing power, you can perform an yajna. But check writing power cannot attain you jnana, cannot take you to jnana. You have to go through this difficult path of understanding this Vedic text, then understanding the, say, internal, say, sorting out various apparent contradictions in that, and then staying firm in that Jnana-Nishtha, that is that Nididhyasana level. So this is a rather difficult process. Jnana-Nishtha is a difficult process. Sitting in a Vedanta class is more difficult than going to a yajna or performing a puja there. Performing a puja, as Tattvavidananda says, it is a very easy task. What all you have to do is, you have to tie a dhoti tightly so that it doesn't fall, and then sit there and then perform some yajna. So that is the easy process. But then this is a rather difficult process. You have to see, you have to listen to, say, this Vedic line, what is this Tattvamasi, that the word. It takes a whole long time to understand it and appreciate it. So that is the picture here. Then yastu atmaratirevasya atmatruptas tasya karyam na vidyate. I was on that line. Tasya karyam na vidyate means for him there is no karyam, because moksha is not a karyam. Moksha is something which is not attained by a deed, it is not attained by a ritual. So that is the point. And then another meaning, as I said, is even if he does an action, it is called karma abhasa. It is only done as a sort of benediction towards the society, as a sort of just helping the other man in the process of realization. So that is the thing. So let us come to these meanings. Yaha plus tu yastu atmaratireva syat. Atmaratihi eva syat. Atmaratihi. What is this atmarati? Of course, Shankaracharya has explained, but before that I will give a small explanation. Rati is a rather technical word in Sanskrit literature. Rati, what is the meaning of rati? The ordinary meaning of rati is a physical intercourse between a man and woman. That is what is called rati. Now that is the normal the meaning. Rati in say poetics, what is called Alankara Shastra. Alankara Shastra, in English we call it poetics. So in this, it is a highly technical word. So it is the sthai bhava for Shrungara Rasa. You know what is Shrungara Rasa? Rasam is there are 9 rasas, as I was telling some time ago, in say according to Alankara Shastra. The rasa is a particular mood, a particular sentiment. So when you are in that particular emotion, when you are having that emotion, there is a peak stage of that emotion. That peak stage of that emotion is called as sthai bhava. That peak stage, that is sthai, that is the particular sthai bhava. So in Shrungara, that is in the case of a romance. Romance means which involves 2 people. Romance basically involves 2 people, say the man and woman. So there again the sthai bhava, that peak of that emotion is called rati. It may be associated with physical contact, it may not be associated with physical contact, like in the case of Gopikas. Lord Krishna and so many Gopikas, it is not as though that was a physical, it is not in a physical sense, it is in a totally metaphorical sense. So like that, so sthai bhava is that peak stage of emotion. So in any sort of rasam. So for Shrungara rasa, rati is called the sthai bhava. That is the supreme state of bliss. That is the supreme state of bliss is rati, atma rati, where 2 things are involved. You are engaged with somebody else, and then you are in a state of bliss. You are forgetful of everything. So you are only in that, when you are in bliss, you are not seeing anything else. So that again is Brahmananda Sabrahmachari. Sometimes they say in Kavya, they say that while you are totally absorbed in enjoying a Kavya, in enjoying a piece of work, in enjoying a work of art rather, a literature, a piece of literature, say Raghuvamsha or Meghaduta or something like that, you are so absorbed that it is something, a reflection of that Brahmananda. If it is not definitely equal to Brahmananda, but some small reflection of that Brahmananda you are finding even in literature. So that is what they say, Brahmananda Sabrahmachari. Sabrahmachari means it is in the same class, Sabrahmachari. So it is in the same class as Brahmananda. Though not in class means it is some Ananda which is a reflection of that Brahmananda. So anyway, this Rati is the meaning of Rati is that Atma Ratihi. So Atmarati means he is happy, he is blissful in that state of knowledge of his own self. Atma Rati. Atma means you have to know what is Atma and what is Anatma. Anatma is what all is there outside. When he sees duality, that is Anatma. Anatma has so many things outside. Anatma has a vast display of so many things outside. The Anatma has a lot of variety, a lot of attraction. So when you, and attraction again for what? Attraction for the senses, attraction for the mind. When you go beyond the senses and the mind, they cease to be an attraction to you. When you go beyond the senses and mind, and when you know that you are beyond these senses and the mind, then these attractions, they no longer attract you. So you are in your own state, Atmas, you are swastha, are in your own state, you are in your own self. So that is called Atmanishta. So for such an Atmanishta, Atmarati means he is blissful, he is very happy in his own, say in that knowledge of self, as self. Knowledge again, it may mean another thing. I know self, that is not that. Even that I feeling has gone. He is in the just staying like that supreme consciousness. So that Atmaratireva syat, Atma Truptascha Manavaha, Atma Truptaha. Trupti is again another word, it is a routine word only. Trupti means contentment, happy, contented. Atma Truptaha, Atma Truptascha Manavaha, Atmani evacha Santushtaha. Atmani means in self. Atmani is in Saptami Vibhakti, seventh case, that is locative case it is called. Atmani evacha Santushtaha. He is perfectly happy with himself. He is perfectly happy. He does not seek any happiness from anything outside. If you seek happiness from anything outside, it is a sign of imperfection. It is, you desire something only when you feel inadequate. You want something else only to fulfill yours when you feel that you will be full. If only you get that. So that is a sense of inadequacy. But a person who is in that Atmanishta, he does not have that inadequacy. So that is why he is Atmanyeva Santushtaha. Tasya karyam na vidyate. So that is the meaning. Yastu Atmaratireva syad Atmatruptasya Manavaha Atmanyeva Santushtaha. Okay. Let us see what Shankaracharya is saying. Evam sthite shrutyartham Gita Shastre Pratipadeeshitam. Okay. Yastu iti. Yastu Sankhyaha Atmajnana Nishtaha Atmaratihi Atmanyeva Ratihi Na Vishayeshu Yasya Sa Atmaratihi Atmaratireva Syat, let us say. Atmaratireva Syat. Okay, Shankaracharya is explaining this samasa also. It is a Bahurihi samasa. Atmaratihi means say Atmaniyeva Ratihi Yasya Saha Atmaratihi. That is one whose bliss is in Atman himself. He is called Atmaratihi. It is that Bahurihi samasa. So Yastu Sankhyaha. Sankhyaha, we know what is Sankhya. Sankhya means a Jnani. Atmaratihi. He is explaining that word Atmaniyeva Ratihi. That is his bliss is in Atman. Na Vishayeshu. It is not dependent on something, some objects. It is not dependent on sense objects. Vishaya is a sense object. Na Vishayeshu Yasya Saha Atmaratihi. One whose bliss is in one's own self and not in sense objects is Atmarati. Atmaratireva Syat. Syat Bhavet. Atma Truptascha Atmana Eva Truptaha Na Annarasadina Samanavo Manushyaha Sannyasi Atmanyevacha Santushtaha. So these two words also he has explained. Atma Truptascha Atmana Eva Truptaha. So Atmana means by Atma itself he is Trupta. The first thing is Atmarati. Atmana eva Truptaha, that is he is not say he does not derive some gratification, he does not derive some satisfaction from this Anna Rasadina by eating some great lunch, by having a nice dinner. He does not feel say extremely elated, nor does he feel dejected by having some bad food. So Anna Rasadina means Annam and Rasam, that is food, any type of food. Anna Rasa Adi. Adi means any other sensory gratification, but not by any other sensory gratification, but he is happy with himself. Then Samanavaha Manushyaha. Samanavaha means we have to see that Manavaha, it refers to all human beings, not to any particular Varna or anything. Samanushyaha, Sannyasi, Atmanyevacha Santushtaha. And such a man, he is totally contented. Santushtaha. Santoshaha is what? Santosha is happiness. Tosham, I said, tosham is happiness. Sam is an upasarga. Sam plus toshaha, santosha. Santosha, a person who is having that santosha is called santushta. Santushtaha. Then, santosho hi, let us read. Bahyartha labhena sarvasya bhavati tam anapekshya atmanyevacha santushtaha sarvatah vita tushna ityetat. So, I is again explaining some more explanation for this word santushta. Santosha or this sort of happiness is attained by a person by bahyartha labha, by getting something from outside. Bahya plus artha, bahyartha labha. So, by attaining something, by gaining something from outside. Whereas this man, he does not see anything inside or outside. So, there is no such thing called bahyartha for him. So, atmanyevacha santushtaha vita tushnaha. Totally, he is a person who has he has no longing for anything, because all these longings are at a sensory level only. All these longing is desire. All these longings or desires, they are at the sensory level only. So he has gone beyond that level. Sarvata vita tushnaha. All those things, they have been dropped. They have dropped off. They have dropped off means his understanding has gone to a different level. All those things, they have dropped off from him. Vita tushnaha ityetat. Let us read this line. Let me read this line again. Santosho hi bahyarthalabhena sarvasya bhavati. Then for everyone, sarvasya means for everybody, santosha, that is happiness, is attained by bahyartha labha, by getting something from the outside. But in the case of this man, tam anapekshya. Tam anapekshya means without regard to that, or without depending on that. Apeksha is something which is a dependence. Anapekshya means something without regard to that. Anapekshya atmani evacha santushtaha. This man is happy with his own self. So that a man, such man from whom all these longings have dropped away, that is the meaning here. Iti etat means, so that is the meaning. Iti etat. Sorry? Vita tushna is that one from whom all longings. Vita means all longings have gone away. Tushna is longing, desire. Vita means vigata. Vigata means gone away. Vigata. V plus gata, vigata, vita are both one and the same. That is, they have dropped away. They have gone away. They have disappeared from him. So let us say disappeared. Let us say all these ragas and dvesha and all that desires, they have disappeared from him. On their own, they have disappeared. So that is the sense that vita tushna is in that sense. It is not as though he is voluntarily and consciously controlling them. It is not as though he is with great effort he is restraining himself. It is not like that. They have voluntarily disappeared from him. Then next line. Ya idrushaha atmavit tasya karyam karaniyam na vidyate nasti ityarthaha. Yaha idrushaha atmavit. Idrushaha means this type of. Idrushaha, this type of person. Idrushaha atmavit, that is atmagyani. Atmanam vetti, iti atmavit, atmagyani. Tasya karyam. Karyam means karaniyam, something which has to be performed. Karyam means something karaniyam which has to be performed. Na vidyate, na bhavati. So as I said, it gives two meanings. That is, there is no obligation on him to do any karma. That is one meaning. And even if he does some karma, it is a karma abhasa. It is only apparently looks like a karma, but it is not karma, because it becomes karma only that it has an impact on a person. That karma phalam, it does not taint him. Karma phalam does not taint him, because he looks at everything as Brahman. So there is no question of karma phala tainting this jnani. So that is why tasya karyam na vidyate. There is no question of action in his case. That is the meaning here. Is it clear?
Yes.
Kincha naiva iti. Of course, for this rati, trupti, santosha and all that, Anandagiri has given some more explanation. There is some rati, what is the meaning of rati, trupti, santosha and all that. We need not go into that. I have adequately explained that. Kincha naiveti. Let us read this shloka. Naivatasya krutenarthaha na kruteneha kaschana nachasya sarvabhuteshu kaschidarthavyapashrayah So it is continuing, this theme here is continuing the situation, the position of a jnani. So what is this jnani? Naiva tasya krutena arthaha na akruteneha kasyana. So for him, there is nothing which has to be attained by a karma. Because as I said, moksha is something which is not attained by karma. Moksha is something which is, say, it is a question of realization. It has something to do with, say, an internal understanding. It's an internal modification. Moksha is a sort of internal change, an internal modification, and it is not something which you attain by a ritual. So for that is why naiva is na plus eva. Naiva, which is never. Tasya, for such a man, krutena. Krutam means karma. Krutena is in tritiya vibhakti. Krutena means by karma. Krutena is tritiya vibhakti, by karma. Krutena arthaha. Arthaha means prayojanam, use, your purpose. There is nothing to be at, no benefit rather. Artha is prayojan. There is no benefit which he is going to attain by any karma. Because it is not something to be at moksha, is not something to be attained by karma, and he has already attained that moksha. He is already in that state of moksha. For him, there is nothing which has to be attained by any karma. Na akruteneha kasyana. And no, it does not mean that akarma will give something. Akarma also, he has nothing to do with either karma or akarma. Akrutena means akarma. Krutam is karma, akrutam is akarma. Krutam is karma, akrutam means akarma. So when krutam also has nothing to do with him, akrutam also has nothing to do with him. Na akrutena, that again is in tritiya, by inaction, there is no, what is this, arthaha. Naivatasya krutena arthaha, na akrutena arthaha. Na akrutena iha. Akruteneha has to be divided as na plus akrutena plus iha. Na akruteneha kasyana. Kasyana means anything whatsoever. There is no use whatsoever. So that is the meaning here. There is no use whatsoever for him either by karma or by akarma. That is either by action or by inaction. Either by a ritual or by withdrawing from a ritual. Because he has gone beyond that stage. Nacha asya sarvabhuteshu kaschid artha vyapashrayah. Nacha asya. Asya means for this person, for this gentleman. Sarvabhuteshu kaschid artha vyapashrayah. Artha vyapashrayah means to be something to be obtained by going and requesting somebody. You go and stand in a queue and then you get some sugar. You go and stand in a queue and then get some card, something like that. You go and apply for a job and then you do something to make some money or whatever it is. Artha vyapashrayah is going and bending before somebody. Vyapashrayah means ashrayanam. We know what is ashrayam. Somebody, you are doing some ashrayam before somebody means ashrayinsadam means going and bending before him as a supplicant, as a seeker, beseeching something from him, beseeching something from somebody else for some benefit. So this gentleman, a jnani, he has nothing. There is no need for him to go and beseech anybody for anything, for any purpose, for any benefit. Nacha asya sarvabhuteshu. Sarvabhuteshu means in all beings. He has neither to do with a human being nor with any sort of divine. Bhuta, Shankaracharya is giving the meaning of, he includes gods also. So he need not go to anybody, he need not go to any gods. In fact, we say normally we go to somebody for some personal benefit. Or if that is not possible, okay, you sit in your house and perform some puja, do some worship and then request God, oh God, give me this result. So, but this jnani, he doesn't even bother for that. He is above that because he has nothing to gain. Even this God is only a manifestation in that jnana. Even this God, what we see, what we talk about God, even this God is only a manifestation in that consciousness. So that is why he need not go to any Brahma. Brahma means Karya Brahma. He need not go to any God. He need not go to any human being for any personal benefit. So that is the meaning of this next line. So these words are very simple. Na eva naiva tasya, for that gentleman. Krutena, that is by karma. Na arthaha, there is no use. Na plus akrutena plus iha. Na akruteneha kasyana. Nacha asya sarvabhuteshu kasyit artha vyapashrayah. Vyapashrayah means just going and, as I said, beseeching somebody for something. That is vyapashrayanam. So let us read the bhashyam. Naiva tasya paramatma ratehe krutena karmana artha prayojanam asti. That is tasya, for that gentleman. Who is that gentleman? We have seen in the earlier shloka for one who is an Atmarati. So that is what Shankaracharya is writing. Naiva tasya paramatma ratehe. One who has got that bliss in that eternal Atman, who is in that state of being an eternal Atman himself. Krutena means karmana, by karma, na artha prayojanam asti. There is no prayojanam by, there is no prayojanam, prayojanam is use. There is no use of any karma. Then astu tarhi akrutena akaranena pratyavayakhyah anarthaha. You got a question. So here it is a question mark. Astu tarhi. Okay then. Astu tarhi means okay. If you say so, that is the meaning. Astu tarhi. Okay, if you say so. Akrutena, that is akaranena, by not doing an action, by not doing a ritual. Pratyavayakyo anarthaha. Pratyavayakhyah anarthaha means this anartha or some negative result. A negative result in the name of pratyavaya. Pratyavaya is the same. Anartha is something, a negative result. Pratyavaya also the same meaning. There is some negative result by not doing a, say what is this, a karma. Suppose an adhikari, you are a adhikari, I am a karmani adhikari, I am a gruhastha and then I am supposed to do certain karmas. If I do not do, there is a pratyavaya, there is a negative result. So, but then in the case of a jnani, this negative result is not there. Akaranena pratyavaya, that is the sins of commission and sins of omission as they say. So, this sin of omission, that is pratyavaya. This sin of omission is not there in the case of a jnani because he has gone beyond that level. So, nahi astu tarhi, okay then, akrutena akaranena pratyavaya anartha. This is what is the Purvapakshi asking. There is a question mark here. Na akrutena, let us read. Na akrutena iha loke kasyana kasyidapi pratyavaya prapti rupaha atmahani lakshano va naiva asti. So he replies, na akrutena. Akrutena means by inaction, by akarma. Lo iha means loke. Iha means in this world, in this loka. Kasyana, whatsoever. Kaschidapi. Kasyana is whatsoever. Kaha, cha plus na. These three words become kasyana. Kaha plus chana. Chana is pratyaya. Kasyana. Kasyana, not cha is not different from na. Chana. Kaha plus chana. Kasyana. Kaschidapi pratyavaya prapti rupaha. That is, there is no say bad effect in the form of a pratyavaya. Pratyavaya prapti rupaha atmahani lakshanaha. That which is likely to harm his atma jnana. There is no question of any pratyavaya which is likely to harm his atma jnana. Atmahani lakshanaha, atmahani lakshano va naiva asti. Such a thing never exists. Naiva asti means it never exists. Then nachasya sarva bhuteshu brahmadi sthavaranteshu bhuteshu kaschid artha vyapashrayah prayojana nimitta kriya sadhyah vyapashrayanam kanchid bhuta vishesham ashritya न साध्यः कश्चिद् अर्थः अस्ति येन तदर्थ क्रिया अनुष्ठेया स्यात्. Okay, nacha, second line is going to explain. Nacha asya, for this gentleman, nacha sarvabhuteshu, in any being. Sarvabhuteshu means in all beings. In all beings. That means he has no work whatsoever with any being. That is nachasya sarvabhuteshu. In all beings he has no work means he has nothing to do with anybody. So suppose I say I am in all things, in all beings I have no work to do. That means I need not approach anybody. That is the meaning here. Nachasya sarvabhuteshu. Sarvabhuteshu, Shankaracharya is including Brahmadi sthavaranteshu bhuteshu. Brahmadi sthavaranteshu bhuteshu. Brahmadi, beginning with Brahma. Sthavara anta, ending with sthavara. Brahmadi sthavaranteshu. Now here, what sort of Brahma we have to take? We should not take that absolute Brahman. We have to take this other manifested Brahma. So Brahma is at two levels. That is what we always see. That Supreme Brahman is that neuter gender. Supreme Brahman is in that Napumsakavilinga, neuter gender. That is the supreme thing. That is only pure consciousness. But here it is called Karya Brahma. That is called Karana Brahma. Supreme Brahma is called Karana Brahma. This is Karya Brahma. It is a manifestation in that thing, Maya Shakti. What do you call Hiranyagarbha? This Brahma here means that Hiranyagarbha only. Hiranyagarbha Brahma. Brahma here means Brahma. So I have read this shloka in the beginning. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu. Every day we read this line. Brahma, when you say Gurur Brahma, Brahma is masculine. But Brahma, when you say, it is neuter gender. That Brahma in neuter gender is the Supreme Brahman. Brahma in masculine is that manifested Brahma. That manifested Brahma who is supposed to be the creator, who is supposed to be the preserver, destroyer, whatnot. So in that Brahma, in that manifested Brahma only, you get this different functions like say Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara and these things, they appear in this manifested Hiranyagarbha. So it is like that. So here we have to take the meaning, not that Supreme Brahman, but Karya Brahma. Brahmadi, that is beginning with Brahma, and then Sthavara Anta. Sthavara means something, some insentient thing. Starting from big, that supreme, not supreme, that say Karya Brahma, Hiranyagarbha Brahma, that cosmic being, let us say. Starting with that cosmic being, right down to a small blade of grass, a small piece of sand, a grain of sand, let us say. Starting from that to a grain of sand, na sarvabhuteshu kaschid artha vyapashrayah. There is no vyapashrayah, prayojana nimitta kriya sadhyah vyapashrayah. Prayojana nimitta kriya sadhyah. That is, he has no 3 minutes. Okay, there is nothing which he has to attain by any kriya, by any action. There is nothing which he has to attain by any kriya. And vyapashraya, Shankaracharya is giving the meaning, vyapashrayah, vyapashrayanam. Kanchit bhuta vishesham ashritya. Kanchit bhuta vishesham ashritya. As I explained, bhuta vishesham means a particular being. Bhuta vishesha means a particular being. Kanchit bhuta vishesham ashritya means by going and surrendering before, by being a supplicant before any particular being. So by the word being, he is again referring to both human being and also the divine beings. So he need not either go to any human being, he need not go and be a supplicant before any divine, he need not go to Tirupati, he need not go to some other place, he need not go to some other place. For any artha vyapashraya jnani, he need not go to all these places. So that is the meaning here. Kaschid artha vyapashrayah prayojana nimitta kriya sadhyah vyapashrayah vyapashrayanam. That is dependence, supplicancy, bending your knee and going before something and asking somebody, something from somebody. That is called vyapashrayanam. So prayojana nimitta kriya sadhyah vyapashrayah vyapashrayanam. Kanchid bhuta vishesham ashritya na sadhyah kaschid arthah asti. There is nothing which is a sadhyam, means that which has to be attained by somebody. Sadhyam is what? Sadhyam is something which has to be attained by some sadhana. Sadhana means a tool, a strategy. They say sadhana, we know what is a sadhanam and what is a sadhyam, we know. Sadhanam is a tool. And then sadhyam is something which the tool or a process, let us say. Sadhanam is a process. And sadhyam is something which you achieve by that process. So, na sadhyah kaschid arthah asti. There is nothing which this gentleman has to attain. Then, yena tadartha kriya anushtheya syat. If at all he has something like that, yena means by which. That means, if at all he has any such need, then he has to do some kriya. Then there is no such need for him, because he is above all these things. Natvam etasmin sarvatas samplutodaka sthaniye Samyak darshane vartase.
Samyak darshane vartase.
So this is the last line of this shloka, of this bhashyam. Natvam. And in your case, so Krishna is reverting to Arjuna. Krishna has told about the status of a jnani, and then he is reverting to Arjuna and says, Tvam, you are not in this stage. Na tvam, etasmin sarvatas samplutodaka sthaniye vartase, samyak darshane vartase. You are not in this stage of samyak darshana. Samyak darshana is a correct realization. Samyak is proper, a correct. Darshanam is vision. What is that proper vision? A realization of the self. A proper realization of the self is that samyak darshanam. Samyak darshana means, in fact, this samyak darshana is also used in Buddhist literature. Something in a slightly in the Pali language, samyak something, I don't remember. Anyway, samyak is proper, a correct understanding. Darshana is vision. We know what is darshana. So this is proper understanding, which is born out of that sarvatas samplutodaka sthaniya. Do you remember this sarvatas samplutodaka, the word? There is one shloka, second adhyaya, 46th shloka. What is that? Yavan artha udapane sarvatas samplutodake tavan sarveshu vedeshu brahmanasya vijanatah. There is one shloka like that. Second adhyaya, 46th shloka. There is an example of a huge water body. There is an example of a well, small well. You remember that? There is an example of a huge water body. Of course, huge water body with all good potable water only, nice, good water only, not polluted water. And then there is a small well which is there located in that. Probably that example is given because in olden days, small wells used to be dug in the middle of a tank. There used to be a village tank, and in that village tank, sometimes in summer when water dries up and whatnot, there is a small well also. The small well also, because that is a place, is a water harvesting place. There will always be some water even in summer. So that is why. But when the tank is full, there is no need for this thing, because the same tank water will be in this also. So that is the sarvatas samplutodaka sthaniye, this kupasya avashyakata nasti. That is in a place where you are fully surrounded by water. There is no need for a well. That means when you are a man who are in that state of Brahma consciousness, you do not require Veda. So that is the meaning of that. That was the reference to that in that shloka. Yavan arthavudapane sarvatas samplutodake tavan sarveshu vedeshu brahmanasya vijanatah. All those Vedas, they are in the position of the small well. That is the picture there. So a jnani goes beyond the Vedas. In that context only we realize that. So the jnani is said to be, this is the only tradition which says, yatra veda aveda bhavanti. You go beyond the text. You become a realized soul. When you become a realized person, you go beyond the text. So that is, the text is not ultimate. Text is not supreme. And you go, the text is only a tool. Text is only a sadhanam for you to push you up to that level. And once you are in that level, you don't require it. It is not as though you throw it away, but you are above it. So that is the meaning here. You are not in that sarvata samplutodaka sthaniye. Sarvataha sampluta udaka. Sarvataha means everywhere. Sampluta, surrounded. Sampluta, plenty. Udaka is water. Sarvata samplutodaka sthaniye, that is Brahmajnana. You are not in that state of Brahmajnana, Brahman awareness, which is like that Sarvata samplutodaka sthana. He is referring to that, you can refer to that shloka again for a more clear understanding. You are not in that level where you have attained that Brahma consciousness, which is something like a huge, which can be compared to a huge water body, where Vedas can be compared to a small well. So you still have a lot of work to do with Vedas. You have not completed this Veda portion. Unless you complete this Veda portion, you can't go beyond this. So let you please follow this Veda portion. What is that Veda portion? Karma Nishtha. So that is what he is going to say in the next shloka. Tasmad asaktas satatam. Tasmat means therefore. Therefore means what? Therefore, because you are not in that higher stage, you have to follow this lower stage. So we'll see in the next class. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Avashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.